What's going on? What's going on? It's HD Rhodes, man. I just want to give a shout out real quick. Man, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Man, to all those fathers out there, man, who, you know what, they've been out there working hard, sacrificing. I'm just sitting up here just in my seat, man. I thought I was about to go ahead and take my son to the swimming pool, but my oldest son, man, my oldest son, man, he the trooper of the household, man. He the one who he literally always looks out for his olders, for his little sister and his little brother, and they decided to go ahead and go swimming. And Jeremiah said, "I'm about to go with Trey," and I was like, "Hey, go ahead and go with Trey. I'll catch up with you in the swimming pool afterwards." Anyways, man, my name is HD Rhodes, and I'm here to talk about the #1 business opportunity of 2025. And the reason I want to do that is because, you know what? There's never been a time such as this in history. You know what? If you go back over 150 years when the money went from the land where you had the gold, the cotton, whether it was corn, whether it was fruit or vegetables, maybe guess what? You were blessed to come from a family in which you had a lineage in which, kind of like J. Paul Getty, their family, they made their money in oil. Or maybe you had an opportunity to make your money in cotton. Well, guess what? The great thing is, guess what? Success leaves clues. And anytime economic trends literally collide at the same time with technology, the shift in technology, there's always a great opportunity to be able to create great wealth. And just as they did in the Industrial Revolution, when you look at the Carnegies, the Vanderbilts, the Mellons, Rockefellers, guess what? You have that same opportunity today, because now, guess what? It's not that the value, is still in the land. The value these days is on the real estate, but online real estate. And you have an opportunity, whether you're a content creator, an educator, or guess what? Maybe you're just an entrepreneur looking to be able to buy digital real estate, to be able to put your stake to claim as far as being able to acquire great wealth and riches online. And there's never been a better time, a better opportunity than right now in 2025. And so what I want to do is I want to talk to you about an online platform that's going to give you not only accessibility, they're also going to give you visibility. And the reason why visibility is important, because it's kind of like if you had an Aunt Sally down in Alabama, she had the #1 recipe to the best lemonade there is in the whole state of Alabama. Now, if she went ahead and put that lemonade stand just in the front of her house, well, guess what? She might be able to get a 2 or maybe a 3 block by 3 block radius of customers coming every day. But imagine if she took that same lemonade recipe and it was the best in the whole state of Alabama. If she took it to the county fair, she would literally get more foot traffic in one day than she would get the whole year being in front of her house. And you know what we call that? We call that visibility. And that's exactly the secret sauce to the formula of what VYB has created. Because you know what? Whether you go ahead and you advertise, or you go ahead and put your business, you go ahead and put your value-added courses on Skill Set, School, or maybe even Shopify, they're not going to even be able to compete to the traffic, the foot traffic, the visibility you're going to have with VYB. Why? Because literally from just December 17th till April 30th, we had over 70,000 entrepreneurs in 160 countries around the world sign up to decide that they want to go ahead and they want to be monetized for moving traffic, subscribers to those entrepreneurs, to those educators and those content creators on the VYB platform. And you know what? Because of that, you have an opportunity to be able to have digital real estate, to be the first to be able to have digital real estate on this platform. You're able to take your skill set, your value-added course. And so my question today for you is, if you had all the time and all the money in the world to live however you want to live, how would you live differently? What would you do? Would you be able to start making plans to go and take that vacation, cruising around the world that you've always dreamed of? Would you dust off that Unique Homes magazine and have the opportunity to be able to buy that 15,000 square foot, 7 bath, 7 bedroom house down in Florida? Would you go ahead and when you start looking at Hatteras yachts, or maybe you're looking at a Sikorsky helicopter? I don't know what it is, what your dream is. Maybe your dream is just to be able to have more money than time. You know, a lot of people, unfortunately, when they're on the 40-40 plan, you know what? They end up running out of money way before they run out of month. And because of that, they're having to take 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 jobs just to be able to make ends meet. You know, and a lot of it has to do with this because the way the economy works. There's 4 income drains I'm going to explain to you today of why your money is not lasting as long as it used to. When you compare it to, you know, literally only 2 generations ago, you know, a lot of people go, you know, well, how was their grandfather able to go ahead and buy a house, buy a car, have a house with a white picket fence, 3 kids and a dog? You know what? Well, back in the Leave It to Beaver days, guess what? You didn't take but normally 1 income to be able to provide for your family. But because inflation doubles the price of the cost of living every 10 years, unfortunately, every 10 years, imagine if right now you were in college and you just graduated. Congratulations to all those college graduates. I know we're in the college graduation time of the season right now, but imagine if you graduated from Harvard, Princeton, or Stanford. Maybe you went ahead and you graduated from University of Victoria, UBC, or McGill. Maybe you got your degree or a master's degree from University of Washington or Cal Berkeley. Congratulations. But unfortunately, even though you're valedictorian, if you're making, say, $200,000 a year right now, you just got done signing your paperwork, ink hasn't even dried this weekend. You know what? Unfortunately, in 10 years, you're going to have to be making $400,000 to have the same spending ability that you do with that $200,000 that you have right now. And in 20 years, you're going to have to make over $800,000. And in 30 years, you're going to have to make a whopping $1.6 million just to live at the same standard of living, just for your money to be able to stretch it just as far as you are today at 200,000. And when you're looking to retire, God forbid, you know, if you're looking to retire in 40 years, that's another $3.2 million just to live at the same place you are. And that's the reason why you see a lot of people my age in their 50s when their kids are going to college and they realize, you know what, they have more room in their house than they have bodies to go, you know what, we don't really need all this space. I mean, what's the point of having a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,500-foot house when it's just the 2 of us, babe? You know, and a lot of people, they decide, they go, hey, why don't we go ahead and sell our house, cash out the equity, go ahead and get something smaller. We go ahead and look, you know, at a third world country, whether it's, you know what, the Costa Rica, or maybe we're going to move down to Mexico, or, you know, some people are going, hey, why don't we move down to the Philippines? And in the process, you know, outside of that, we're going to go ahead and start putting our money in the money markets and go ahead and look at keeping it in for the next 10 years and see if we can't make some of that money so that we can travel and enjoy, you know, our golden years. Now, unfortunately, you know what? The problem is most people don't understand how money works because there's 4 income drains. I already told you what inflation does, and that's the biggest one right there. That's the main reason why we've went from 1 income household to 2 income households to 3 income households. That's the reason why, guess what? When you see a lot of your Uber drivers or Lyft drivers, why you find out that they got a 6-figure job, but they just can't keep up with the cost of living these days, inflation. But you know what? There's 3 other ones you need to understand. If you have a job like a W-2 employee or a T4 employee in North America, and Canada, United States, you got to understand they're going to take taxes out of your check before you get paid. Then you're going to pay taxes anytime you purchase anything. And every April, you're going to have to go ahead and pay taxes based off of what the gross amount of money that they said that you're supposed to make, even though they took taxes out and you never received that. If you have a salary in which says you're supposed to make $200,000 a year, you're going to be lucky if you even see 160 to 150,000 of it. Why? Because of the taxes. So what happens is you have to understand, as an entrepreneur, those same things in which they're going to take that $40,000 to $50,000 out of that annual check. Guess what? That's money. If you're an entrepreneur, you could actually be put in the money market that could be earning you not just interest in the bank, but you could be earning, guess what? Dividends on that. You could be earning, you know, additional money. And if you went ahead and got into our financial literacy courses, you could actually use some of that money that other people who make the same amount of money you are, who are employees and you're an entrepreneur, you could use that money to go ahead and put in not just real estate investments, but what about being able to put it into cryptocurrency? Imagine if you had cryptocurrency back when it was only 20 cents, like Barnaby from Australia, who's one of our who's one of our financial literacy course teachers. You know, he's going to be teaching classes all about DeFi, which is cryptocurrency, Forex, NFTs. And you know what? He's a billionaire. And he went ahead and wrote an AI program, which is going to help teach you and take you from step one all the way to going to, guess what, intermediate, all the way to an expert. And the beautiful thing about it is with this AI course, you can even ask this AI bot, you can go, okay, well, what am I supposed to learn in this particular course? And it'll go ahead and give you the bullet points. And guess what? As someone who's very astute, as a student, you're going to be able to go, okay, so these are 10 points I'm supposed to learn from this course. And so guess what? Now when you're studying the financial literacy course, that's called CFIRE, which stands for Crypto is Fire by Barnaby. Guess what? Now you know what to be looking for. It's almost like a smarter way to be able to study. And the best thing is the test, there's not going to be a test in which you're going to get graded based off of grades. There's going to be a test where when you put that information to use, guess what? It's going to go ahead and give you results, which is going to be something that you can spend. It's cash results. Instead of getting A's, B's, and C's, you're going to be able to get 1, 2, or 3 commas in your bank account. And so the coolest thing about this opportunity I want to talk to you about is, you know, as an entrepreneur, you're able to go ahead and leverage not only technology, you're not only going to be able to leverage our platform, you're also going to learn everything that has to do with money. You're going to be able to learn about trust. Okay, you're going to be able to learn about the financial, you know, investments. You're also going to be able to learn about real estate investments. The coolest thing about this is we have successful investors teaching about investing. We have successful entrepreneurs teaching you about entrepreneurship. We have the people who've been there, done that, and they're going to go ahead and take their skill set, their knowledge, and they're going to pass it on to you, guess what, at your own speed. Because guess what, their knowledge and these courses are going to be available online. So if there's something you don't get, you can replay it over and over and over again until you completely understand it without having that pressure of feeling rushed or feeling like, oh man, you know, what if I don't get a good grade? Don't worry about grades. Focus on the results. Because guess what? This is something in which you're going to be able to have a skill set that lasts the rest of your life. And I'm talking from experience because over the last 3 years, I've been blessed to go ahead and take such courses. I actually enrolled in the KPCFX Academy. And that KPCFX Academy, shout out to King Pip, man, it blessed me to be able to learn not only crypto, but I was able to go ahead and learn about Forex. And Forex is actually one of the most liquid investments in the financial market in the world. There's over $7 trillion per day that is moving in currency in the Forex market. And because of that, it allows you to be able to create literally, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a day as you become more astute in that particular field. And so I welcome you today to be able to take a look at this platform because it's going to be a game changer for you, for your family. And as the Bible says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And what better way to do that than to be able to get direct information straight from the horse's mouth from people who are making 7, 8, and 9 figures. Now, as we were talking about the 4 income drains, the second one is interest. A lot of you guys understand interest because the interest rates on your credit cards, your house note, your car note, God forbid the interest is what you got to pay back on those school loans. If you went ahead and took out $500,000 on a school loan to put your kid in the best school possible, I understand. Congratulations. The problem is if they're using the education to get a job, the more money they make, the more government's going to take out in taxes. I already talked about taxes. Now I'm talking about interest on a school loan. Number 3 is insurance. You got to pay insurance, whether it's medical, car note, house note. You better have medical insurance even for a pet, because God forbid your pet gets sick. You know, you don't want your dog or your cat to get sick and you don't have enough to cover that vet bill. That could be an extra, you know what, debt. But guess what? As an entrepreneur, all these things you're able to be able to write off on your taxes. And the most important one is, as I told you at the very beginning, inflation, which doubles the price of the cost of living every 10 years. If you have a business, your product or your service is going to keep up with the cost of living. It acts as a hedge of protection against inflation. And so as I went ahead and broke down those 4 income drains, now what I want to explain to you is the importance of having your own business. Outside of that, let's talk about it as an asset. Robert Kiyosaki, 30 years, wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And in that book, he explained the importance of knowing the difference between an asset and a liability. And I'm not talking about what you write on the bank when you're filling out an application trying to get out a loan, whether it's a line of credit, whether it's a new mortgage, or whether you're trying to go ahead and just buy a car, new vehicle, or boat. I'm talking about true assets. A true asset is something that puts money in your pocket. It's something that you invest your money in and you get a return on that investment. Now, an asset, that's what we call a true asset. A liability now, those are things in which you pay for that the only thing is this money going out, you might as well flush it down the toilet or put it in the fireplace. You're not getting anything back. Those are what we call liabilities. Robert Kiyosaki explained how assets and liabilities work in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I read 30 years ago. I found that book in the back of a multi-millionaire who was my mentor, his car. After he asked me, he goes, David, do you want to be a millionaire? I said, absolutely, Joe. He said, okay, well then the first thing you need to know is how to think like a millionaire. The second thing you need to know is how to speak like a millionaire. And I go, Joe, how do you do that? Because you know what? Joe had 25 branches at Q Point Mortgage Company, and he's also the vice president of Cascade Bank. He had a mansion. He had a Mercedes, big body, hello. Not to mention, he also was driving a Porsche 911 twin turbo. His wife was driving a Range Rover. And I go, you know what? Outside of the yacht, I go, you know what? This is someone in which definitely is qualified to be able to teach me how to become a millionaire. And so I was all ears. And he said, you know what? If you want to be a millionaire, you need to think like a millionaire. You need to speak like a millionaire. In order to do that, you need to read what millionaires read. At the time, I was getting ready to ask him. I said, what do millionaires read? He got a phone call. He got out the car and he started going ahead and talking to whomever called him. I happened to glance in the back seat and I found that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I wrote the name of that book on my hand, went to Barnes & Nobles, and the rest is history. 5 years later, I was able to take that information in which I learned from Robert Kiyosaki's first and his second book, which is Cash Flow Quadrant. Cash Flow Quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki taught you that the best way to be able to go from being employed to being a business owner is to go from being an employee using the skill set and the knowledge base in which you're already learning, and you're going to go ahead and develop it until you become a master, until you're recognized in that field as somebody who's the best. And my dad always told me, he goes, David, if you're going to do anything in life, you need to be the best. And so I took it very serious, whether it was sports. You know what? When I got to college and I was able to go ahead and take speed reading courses and to be able to be on the dean's list and be able to literally start getting all A's at all my courses, or whether it was when I got in business in the mortgage industry, I always focus on being the very best because these are values in which my dad instilled upon me. And my dad was able to do that because my dad didn't just preach it. He lived it. Because you know what? My dad's retired in the Alabama Hall of Fame, Northern Alabama for high school. He won a state championship. He's in the Hall of Fame for basketball. He's in the Hall of Fame for coaching at Washington State University. He coached Division I basketball for 20 years. He helped select the Kodak All-American team for women's basketball, as well as he helped select the Olympic team. And so, you know what? Being able to have that type of environment as you're growing up, okay? Before I was a knucklehead and I got kicked out the house, before I was a knucklehead hanging around the wrong people, you know, having that solid foundation, it's went a long ways in my life. And because of that, you know, I like to always share people. If you want to be successful, the key to being successful is making sure you're in a successful environment. And this particular platform, VYB, they have exactly all the keys that you're going to need to be successful, including they have what they call VYB Tribe. Now, VYB Tribe is a community of success-oriented individuals who, regardless of what industry you're in, whether you're a content creator, whether you're an educator or an entrepreneur, you're going to be able to create literally your own tribe inside of this e-commerce and educational platform. Why? Because you know what? It's a platform that is literally attracting the brightest minds, the most successful entrepreneurs, educators, and content creators in 160 countries. So imagine if you want to be able to go from being a 100,000aire to become a millionaire. My mom used to say birds of a feather flock together. In business, we say the 5 people you spend the most time with, if you take their income divided by 5, you're going to go ahead and find your income. So what better way to be able to become a millionaire than to start associating with millionaires, and not just any type of millionaires, man. You could find millionaires who are professional gamblers. You can find millionaires who do sports betting. You can find millionaires who are, you know, in the inner city, in the urban area, in which, guess what, they're making their money off of, you know, selling death in liquid form, because guess what, they're street pharmacists. But I'm talking about, what about finding an opportunity where you're able to be around other millionaires, whether they're lawyers or doctors or they're entrepreneurs, in which, you know what, they're carpenters, maybe they're painters, maybe they own restaurants, or you know what, maybe they're in the financial financial industries, or maybe they're in real estate. You know what? There's so many opportunities in North America for you to be very successful. The key is being able to be in an environment where there's people who think like you, in which, guess what? They're making their money on ways in which are honest and legal and moral. And you know, I had my business mentor ask me 30 years ago, he goes, HD, if I was able to show you a business system that would allow you to make over $250,000 a year, and it didn't go against man's laws or God's laws, would you be interested? And I'm like, absolutely. And he did. And you know what? Because of that, I was able to be able to start going from making $10,000 a month to $15,000 a month to $20,000 a month to over $22,000 a month US. And at that time, I actually ended up moving to Canada. So the exchange rate was 1.5. So every time my wife and I was making 20,000 US, that was $30,000. And back 20 something years ago, man, making $30,000 Canadian, I felt like a king. It was like, hey babe, every time I got paid, it's like, okay, here you go. Here's the money. You know, go ahead and make sure this house is worth coming home to. I came home, it was all brand new couches, all brand new this, all brand new cutlery, all brand new plates, all brand new everything. We're sleeping on a bed, it was new. It was almost overwhelming for someone who was in his late 20s. But when I think about it today, it's a blessing. Why? Because that experience and being able to be around that caliber people, you know, when you're able to go to the church and you're sitting up there, you're talking directly with the pastor after church and he wants to sit down with you in the back office. You're able to go ahead and sit down with the mayor of the city. You're able to go ahead and talk with the chief of police. You know, it's not a matter of status, or it's a matter of the quality of individuals you're able to be around. You're able to have imparted different types of knowledge than in other circles. And that's what you have an opportunity to expose yourself with this particular platform that we call Vibe. Because with the Vibe Tribe, now you're able to network with other people that are higher level who are in the same industries, because everyone's coming for the same purpose. Now, enough about that. I want to talk about Vibe Global. Now, Vibe Global is an opportunity for you to be able to now monetize your skill set. Maybe there's something in which, you know what, you're the best at. And maybe you were in corporate America for the last 30 years and you are one of the top engineers. And you know what, you have a way and a system of doing things with engineers that nobody else has. Well, guess what? You wrote a book and it sat there on Amazon and you're like, man, it seems like nobody wanted that information. But guess what? I just got done telling you at the beginning of this particular presentation, you know what? You might have been like Aunt Sally. You might have had that best lemonade recipe, but because that you're only dealing with that recipe and putting it, you know, in your front lawn, and you only have people in a 3-block by 3-block area who even knew that you had the best lemonade stand, guess what? You didn't get a lot of foot traffic. But by taking that same lemonade recipe, taking that best lemonade in the whole state of Alabama to the country fair, you're able to get more foot traffic in one day than you would the whole year. Well, the same thing happens with your value-added course. If you're an engineer, guess what? Maybe you're a teacher and you have a certain way of being able to teach, okay, in a classroom, whether it was geography, maybe it was social studies, maybe it's a particular field in science in which, you know what, your kids were able to test higher than anywhere else in the entire state because of the way you teach. Well, wouldn't it be awesome to have a platform that's going to allow you to now take that knowledge base and be able to share that with around the world in 160 countries? And because now you're going to be giving value to all the other teachers, you're going to be giving value to all those other people who are in that field and would love to learn how you're able to empower the other students in your classrooms, and they're going to have the opportunity to learn that. Guess what? They might be willing to say, hey, we would love to go ahead and pay you $30 a month to teach us what you know. And guess what? Now with Vibe Global, they're going to go ahead and give you what? Accessibility and visibility. Imagine if you had 1,000 teachers sign up for that course today. That's $30,000 that is going to be online course. So now you have that, you have leverage. Now you have an online course, which is working kind of like an employee. So now it's like that's your new digital asset that's working for you 24 hours a day. $30,000 a month coming in, whether or not, guess what? You wake up, whether you go on vacation, whether you go teach another class or not. The best thing about it is, guess what? If you're at the best of what you do and you have a skill set and knowledge that no one else has, I guarantee you those 1,000 teachers are going to tell at least one person each. So that means this month you might have made 30,000. Next month you're going to go from 30 to 60,000. The month after that you're going to probably make over 120,000. And $120,000 times 12 months. Last time I checked, you're a millionaire now. Why? Because all you did is you put your knowledge base and that skill set on an online platform that gave you accessibility to 160 countries, but it also gave you visibility, which is the most important thing, which is them driving traffic to your value-made course. Now you go, what's the difference between the Spotify? What's the difference between school? What's the difference in skill set? You know what? That was a good question. And so I asked ChatGPT. I literally dropped all the information from VYB. Then I dropped all the information from school. Then I went ahead and dropped all the information from skill set. And I go, ChatGPT, give me a comparison between these three. Give me the pros and cons about that. And it goes, and it literally rakes the entire globe for all the information on those 4 platforms. And when it came back, it blew my mind. One of the first things I noticed was Shopify was over $600 US. And that was before you have all the additional upgrades. Now I compare price alone, VYB is less than $300 a month. And it has literally the same thing as Shopify, plus school, plus skill set, plus more. And I was like, oh my goodness, what's the more? The fact that they're going to drive traffic to your value-added course versus you having to spend another $2,000 to $3,000 in advertising. I mean, that alone is worth the price. But let me go ahead and go forward with that. On top of that, VYB has something which they call literally VYB branding. So imagine a company in which is going to allow you to be able to now be able to monetize your skill set, your knowledge base. On top of that, they're going to help brand you. Like, are you kidding me? They're literally going to use their AI platform not only to help you make money, but they're also going to help you brand yourself. They're going to help you even be able to not only create your own website, but your own app. Man, the business technology and business solutions alone is worth a lot more than less than the $300 they're charging a month just for the access. I mean, it's incredible. But they don't stop there. They even have what they call VYB Styles. And VYB Styles is where they've went ahead and they've bought over 40,000 square foot of warehouse space to be able to create your merch, your hats, your shirts, your sweatshirts. Maybe you want to make dresses. Maybe you want to have your own clothing line. Maybe you want to go ahead and have specialty cups. You know what? The great thing is they have all that, and it's all included under that one low price of less than $300 a month to have access to that platform, that you can monetize whatever you build on that platform. On top of that, don't forget, we started off talking about the financial literacy courses you're able to take. Oh my goodness. So you're telling me I could go to school, take what I learned in school, now go ahead and create a business, take what I've learned in school to create a business. They're going to brand it. They're going to allow me to put it on the online platform. Then I'm going to be able to sell whatever product and service I create. On top of it, they're going to give me an app. They're going to give me a website. And then guess what? As I'm making money, if I go, hey, I want to teach people myself what I learned in their school, how they branded it, how they're going to market it, and I'm going to go ahead and teach a value-added course, and I can get paid for that too. You bet. And that's what made me more excited than anything else, because I said, man, they're literally taking you from step one to done. And at the same time, they're going to helping you discover what your gift is. They're helping you go ahead. And guess what? They're going to help you do. They help you polish that bad boy and get it ready so that you can go ahead and show it to the world. And guess what? Monetize it. And when you're done, you can go on and put that on any platform you want. Why? The website's yours. The branding is yours. The company's yours. The business, the service is yours. All they want to do was to help you go ahead and to discover it, develop it, and then put it on display. Last but not least, if you're ready to go ahead and take your business to the next level, they have something called VYB Spotlight. With VYB Spotlight, it's literally like a digital magazine, in which you're going to go ahead and you're going to record your 30-second elevator speech. You go, HD, what's a 30-second elevator speech? You know what? I'm going to let you Google that, man, because you know what? Sometimes these presentations are a little long, and you know what? Because they're a little bit long, one of the coolest things in which we're doing with me and my team of entrepreneurs is now that we've officially launched this company. Oh my goodness, it's so exciting. We're literally going to teach people how they can go ahead and make millions by literally clicking play. on the PowerPoint presentation that's already recorded. It's literally 8 minutes. Imagine if you want to be in sales, on the sales side of this, if you want to learn how to drive traffic to entrepreneurs, content creators, and educators on the sales side of this, stay tuned, because I'm going to teach you how by simply clicking play and inviting people to a daily Zoom conference call where all you're going to do is click play. You're going to be able to make a lot more money than I did when I got my, guess what? My company paid BMW back in 2011 when I was just selling nutrition through Vice Salads. Man, I'm telling you, this never gets more exciting than what we're talking about right now, because the product and vibe is you. You're the one who has a dream. You're the one with the vision. You're the one with the goal. You're the one with the product or service. And all Vibe's going to do is allow you to be able to display it around the world. Last but not least, they have something called Vibe Ventures. So if you have a business idea, you already have yourself branded, you have everything set, the only thing you need is money. Guess what? Vibes right now today in Chicago. Next week, they're going to be in a different city. Guess what? Next month, they're going to be in a different country, different province. They're literally taking their entrepreneur, educational, and content creator show on the road so that it's being able to be exposed in 160 countries. And if all you need is just the venture capitalist to be able to get started with what you've created, then guess what? You could do just like Shark Tank and just like Dragon's Den. Go to one of their symposiums and you have an opportunity to be able to pitch your business concept and idea to 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs. Now, last but not least, I want to go ahead and break down the last 4 income streams. So if you got enough information and you go, hey, HD, all I want you to do is just send me the link so I can go ahead and do a walkthrough and see, put my eyes on this platform. Go ahead and DM me. I'm pretty much done with the presentation. I think most of you guys have already understand that right now the trends are better than ever before. We already went through the Industrial Revolution. There's already been billionaires created with streamlined distribution and direct sales industry. There's a lot of billionaires already created in the dot-com era when a lot of these companies in brick and mortar commerce went online. Jeff Bezos invested money, starting his own brick and mortar out of his garage. 2 decades later, he's the #1 book distributor in all of North America. And not just that, I was able to go ahead and watch March Madness college basketball on Amazon Prime, which means he's now competing with cable companies. But he didn't stop there. He's competing with Netflix because I can go ahead and watch online streaming of movies. He didn't stop there because I can get my health and beauty products. I can go ahead and get my cell phone, my earbuds. Man, I can even get my merch there. So what is my point? If you understand technology, when it runs into the financial trends, it's always an opportunity to create billions for those entrepreneurs who go ahead and take the opportunity to get in that particular market at that time. And this is no different because we've went now from what I talked about, the dot-com era that Jeff Bezos went ahead and leveraged to become a billionaire, to the social media era where you already have people like Kai Cenat who are literally going from zero to a hero in a matter of 3 to 6 months, who becoming millionaires overnight. Not like back when you heard about these direct sales companies and they gave you a 2 to 5 year plan that created 100,000 millionaires in those companies. Mary Kay, come on, Avon, Shackley, Amway, Legal Shield, Prime America. Man, those companies are proven. They have a 2 to 5 year plan. Heck, man, they have people who used to be in corporate America who were masters at not only recruiting salespeople, but teaching salespeople how to make 6 and 7 figures. And they just took that skill set and they took it to a direct sales company and built a huge sales force. And so guess what? It's been there, done that. But now we're going to one of the most exciting times in history, AI. It's the AI revolution. People like me, man, 50 years old, don't know nothing about computers. I can barely use a smartphone. I'm sitting up here now making, I'm sitting up here making PowerPoint presentations. I'm sitting up here making the coolest video presentations. And guess what? If you want to see some of them, DM me, man. I actually seen it, a couple of them a couple months ago, and I was scratching my head going, Lord, was I asleep or is this real? Did I really wake up in the middle of the night? You gave me a couple ideas, and I typed it into ChatGPT, and then I took that and I put that into AI and video, and then it created this awesome presentation breaking down the trends I just told you guys about right now. And guess what? I went the next morning, I looked on my phone, and sure enough, there's a 2-minute PowerPoint presentation that was all audio and visual and looked like it was a Hollywood scripted movie in 2 minutes. I was like, I did that? Truth is, no, ChatGPT and AI and video did that. But AI is so cool, it made me look like I was better than George Lucas when I put together those 2-minute videos. To the point where 2 months later, anytime someone goes, hey, HD, I want to get more information about what that business you're talking about every day at 6:30 Pacific, I'm sorry, 6:30 Eastern Time, which is 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, man, I send them 2 videos. One's 2-minute video that's going to go ahead and break down the economic trends. The other one is a 3-minute video that's going to break down the technology trends. And then I'll just send them a corporate presentation that's literally 8 minutes, goes to the PowerPoint, and guess what? In less than 15 minutes, they got a clear vision. It's audio, visuals like a movie, and they're super excited. And they're like, HD, man, how did this come together? I said, I don't know. All I know is there's 3 people who came together who were multi-millionaires. One started off as an English teacher. She went ahead and started an after-school program teaching entrepreneurship in Indiana, Miss Megan Lynch. If you go and look up her name, Megan Lynch, and you look up July 2015, you'll see when she started her after-school program. Is called Save Our Sons, because she got tired of going to funerals year after year for her students who are dying, not, for nonsense, because in the streets, because of the drug gangs and because of the cartels and because of just the inner city violence and stuff going on, that she decided to create an after school program to be able to teach entrepreneurship, to be able to teach these kids who were wearing these shirts to their classmates' funeral that said, make money till you die. Well, she taught them a way that's honest, legal, and moral, how to be able to make money. One of those ways was she started being able to teach them, over the last 5 years, cryptocurrency. Come on, Bitcoin, Ethereum, hello. The other way she's able to teach them is Forex. Imagine teaching these kids how to make thousands of dollars in a matter of minutes from a cell phone. Are you kidding me, man? We live in the craziest times. I think, man, what if I would have had that opportunity, man, literally 35 years ago? Man, I couldn't imagine where I'd be right now. If I learned how to make $1,000 in 5 minutes from my cell phone when I was 15 years old, man, y'all might be talking to me on a private island in which I literally have skyscrapers on there. And I'm sitting up here figuring out how, I'm going to compete with Elon Musk next. He has SpaceX. I'm going to have HDX. He's going to be sending his spaceships to Mars. HD is going to be sending my spaceships to Pluto. Do you understand what I'm talking about? The mind of a young mind, the mind of the youth, combined with technology and education, man, the world is their oyster. And with a platform like that, imagine being able to empower the youth in your community, being able to show them that, guess what, man, the sky is not the ceiling. Man, it's just the starting point. And that's what this educational and entrepreneurship platform is all about. So without any further ado, I want to go ahead and now talk to those people who have, just a burning desire to help get off the street, man. I've been there, done that when I was in my youth. I went to a period of time where I wasn't listening to my parents, and my dad did something, and I thank him to this day. He did it. He said, look, man, if you're going to be running with the wrong kids and you're not going to listen to the rules, then you got to get out of my house. And I did. And it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because I got some real life experience real quick about how good I had it before I got myself in that position. And, I got in a lot of trouble. But as I got older, the one thing I did is I respected my dad more and more every day. I was more thankful for the foundation he gave me every day. And when I went off to college, man, and had an opportunity to get my life right, to get off the streets, to stop being a knucklehead, a hardhead, as my mom said, a hardhead makes a soft behind. As I stopped being a knucklehead, getting in trouble, went off to play college basketball, got my life together, man, and had the opportunity to go into the mortgage, the financial industry, man. It was the foundation that my dad set of that work ethic, being able to have those big dreams and big goals, but having that work ethic to get it done. And because, my dad used to beat my butt, and I'm proud of that. People be like, that's abuse. That ain't no abuse. That's called discipline. If my father didn't beat my butt when I was young and I wasn't listening to him, I wouldn't have the discipline to become the #1 sales representative in Wells Fargo in the whole Southeast region when I worked for Wells Fargo in the mortgage industry in Alabama. I wouldn't have been able to put myself in a position where I was able to go ahead and have a company paid BMW in the first 6 weeks that I started the direct sales company with VYB-ing Science. I would have never been able to get to the point where I was making 10, $15,000, $22,000 per month, taking home the whole check, working for myself because I invested the money that I made working in the banks into a mortgage franchise. You understand what I'm saying? Discipline is the key to success. And since success leaves clues, what now I want to do is I want to talk to those individuals who they think that maybe, you know what, if they weren't selling drugs, if they're not a professional athlete, they're not going to be able to be successful. And so if that's not you, feel free to jump off, because I want to break down these last 4 income streams to them, because I know that they have the dream. I know they have the work ethic. I just think that they don't have the mentorship. And that's what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to help mentor these youth and help them to be able to walk in a direction that's more positive and still be able to make more money than their eyes and their brains could ever imagine. And with these last 4 income streams, it's going to blow their mind. So the second income stream works kind of like this. We call it a fast start bonus. Imagine those content creators, those entrepreneurs, and those educators, when they're now paying for their platform, every time they're paying, let's call it $250. Imagine out of that $250, they're going to give a fast start bonus to you for introducing them to this platform. Now, the cool thing is this. Every month that they're paying that, they're going to go ahead and give you, VYB is going to pay you that thank you fast start bonus. So let's say every time they pay just under $300, you get just under $50, okay? Now what happens is that's only the second income stream. It's kind of like a gym membership. Imagine if your gym said, hey, you know what? You work out this gym and, you know, you pay your $50 a month. You work upper body, lower body, or cardio. But the best part is, guess what? Instead of us paying billions of dollars in advertising, radio, social media, TV, instead of us spending billions of dollars in advertising for the Super Bowl, the PGA Tour, or Wimbledon, hello, we're going to go ahead and actually just take half of our advertising budget, half of our marketing budget, and we're just going to pay the customers to go ahead and refer, you know, what we do for them to the people they know. Now people go, why would they do that? I don't know. Why does the movie sit there and do that and you don't get paid for it? What do you mean, HD? You realize that every time a new movie's coming out, they'll do the commercial for the movie right up till the release. Then once it's released, you guys are going to go pay $20 for popcorn that you could have got at the store for $5. Then you're going to go and buy these bags of candy that they're going to charge you another $20 that you could have got easily at Walmart for $3. And then when you're done, you're going to sit up there and be watching Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible. And you're like, he's jumping out of the plane, shooting guns, got a parachute pulling. And by the time your heart's done racing up, down, up, down, up, down for 2 hours, you're going to get on the phone. You're going to be telling your friends and your aunt, your cousins, your mom, your dad, your siblings, and all your coworkers, oh, you got to see the brand new Mission Impossible is the best. And how much money did you get paid for that? And you know the funny thing is? Hollywood knows you're going to do it. They know you're going to do that. And you literally paid Hollywood $100 to go eat candy and popcorn, go watch this movie, and you can be, but they had the surround sound and the big screen, and because you can't afford to have your man cave, you thought that was awesome. But by the time it's done, you and another 10 million people went and referred another 10 million people who referred another 10 million people, and they never paid you. And all I'm telling you is a platform like this and most direct sales companies, they're going, hey, if you do the same thing you do for Hollywood, we'll pay you. I don't know what you call that. I call that a good deal. So let me talk to you about the third income stream. The third income stream works like that. Everyone who knows in direct sales industries, like I said, I'm talking to salespeople. So if you're not a salesperson, you don't understand compensation plans. If you're not a CEO of a company, you're really not going to understand this compensation plan because you're getting paid with this company like a CEO of a major corporation in Canada, the US. You're going to get profit sharing off of what, not only what you created, but what the whole company has created. Now, I don't know about you, but I thought that was pretty exciting. You mean I get to get paid just like Steve Ballmer did when Microsoft was blowing up and growing? You betcha. Now, the cool thing is this, it works like this. In direct sales, they always tell you your profitability is in the width. That means the individuals that you bring to each direct sales company, that's where your profit lies. But your stability lies in helping those people, literally, as you help people going 10 generations deep. But with our particular platform, they made it really cool. You only have to invite 3 people. So I don't know if I go, well, I'll invite a content creator like Matthew Plant, the #1 gospel hip hop rapper and R&B singer in all of Canada and the United States of America for 2025. And then I said, okay, what educators I know? Well, I knew 2 educators, James Udell, who, guess what? He's the #1 bass guitar player in Dallas, Texas, and Big Rob Arnold down at Washington State University, who spent 18 years studying martial arts in Taiwan. I go, well, there's 3. But then I ran into Felicia Lacerte in Vancouver, Canada, and you know what? She had this huge vision for the indigenous community, that she wanted to be an inspiration to show them that not only indigenous Canadians are able to be successful as entrepreneurs, but she said she wanted to be an inspiration as a single mom who has a daughter to women all around the world who are single moms, to show them that, guess what? Here's an opportunity for empowerment. Here's a company that's going to allow them to be able to discover what their vision, what their dream, what their mission is, help them develop it, and display it in 160 countries. And so guess what? Instead of 3, I accidentally found 4. And out of those 4, my goal was, as we launched our company this week, to help them expose it to 3 people as well. Now, as I do that and I went 10 generations down, guess what that's going to pay me in the next couple of weeks? $442,000 a month. That's just the 3rd income stream. It gets better, because those 4 individuals I just named to you, as they're able to go ahead and create their own VYB global value-added courses, man, say their courses are $30 a month and they have 1,000 people. I just showed you that's $30,000 a month they have coming in. I don't think they're worried about that $300 that's going to be a tax write-off, because guess what? It's the cost of them to be able to run their business. I don't think they're worried about that $300 anymore, making $30,000 in their sleep. Guess what? And so they're focused on giving so much value, they're not really worried about it, because they know that that 1,000 students is going to be 2,000 next month. And that 2,000 students is going to be 4,000 next month. And they're going to go from 30,000 a month the first month to 60,000 the second month to 120,000 the third month. Oh, not to mention, on the sales side, because they referred 3 content creators like themselves, or 3 entrepreneurs like themselves, or 3 educators like themselves, and as I help drive their business 10 levels deep, that's going to be another $442,000 a month. If you do the math on that, man, I just explained to you how I'm helping 3 individuals, 4, I lost count, okay, make $120,000 a month on their own value-added course, plus another $442,000 a month. So basically, that means I'm helping them make over $500,000 a month in the next 60 to 90 days. You tell me where you can do that honestly, legally, by helping them with education, content creator, and entrepreneurship. In 160 countries, I only know 1 platform that does that. That's VYB. So the last 2 income streams I work like this. I'm going to get 100% override of the income I help them generate on those fast start bonuses. And the coolest thing is, the company's going to pay a $5 bonus on every single person who's paying their monthly $300 to be on this platform. Now, who's not going to pay $300 when they're making $500,000 a month off that? Everyone, right? So guess what? That's where we get that 442, because by the time we go 10 generations deep of 3 by 3 by 3 by 3, there's just under 90,000 people. 90,000 people times $5 each is $450,000. The math keeps mathing. Now you go, HD, man, you're pretty good at math. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't come up with those calculations on my own. You know, whether or not I was in finance or not, there was something in which the Lord told me to do one late night. I was like, man, it sounds so great. I'm so excited. And I'm like, man, I wish I could just see how much money I'm going to make. And then something told me, take a picture of the compensation plan, download it on ChatGPT. I did. And then I go, ChatGPT, show me the best way to make money with this thing. By the time it's done, it goes, do you want a PowerPoint presentation or do you want the bullets? I'm like, give me the bullets. It gave me the bullets. It's like, bah, 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 bah. And I start reading through those bullets, man. And then it starts showing me how much money's going to come if I do this, I do that, I do that. Then I go, ChatGPT, show me the most lucrative way to go ahead and make that money. They go 3 wide, 10 deep. They said $442,000 a month. I just looked at my phone like this. And for the next 2 days, I couldn't talk. I was like, they're going to pay me almost $500,000 a month to tell 3 people, a content creator, an educator, or an entrepreneur, about an opportunity for them to make money with their value, with their own value-added course and their own skill set. And I was stuck. I was like, and then all of a sudden I woke up and I was like, Mom, guess what? Guess what? Mom, you know that artwork you do? Dad, you know how you coach for the last 20 years? Man, how many coaches you think around the world would love to be able to know what allowed you to be the Pac-10 coach of the year and to be able to help select the Olympic team? I was like, Dad, I was calling my cousin. I was like, cousin, man, you know you're like the #1 Mary Kay sales rep. You got to see this platform, man. I lost my mind because I was like, man, I had to tell everyone I knew, and all I needed was 3. Hello. The 5th income stream works like that. Those people that you invited to this online platform to monetize their dreams, their goals, and to be able to make money with their own vision. Yeah, whoever they invite, you get a 50% override. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a lot of money. But the coolest part about it is it's not money. The coolest part is you're empowering your friends, your family, your relatives, your coworkers, those who you go to church with, those people in your community, to be able to learn how to become self-sufficient, how to monetize their goals, their dream, their vision. How are they going to do that? First, you're going to help them discover what it is. Then this company is going to help them develop it. And then last but not least, we're going to put it on stage so that they're able to monetize it in 160 countries around the world. I'm HD Rhodes. DM me for more information. God bless you. And shout out to all those fathers. Happy Father's Day.